Tech companies in the valley have, globally laid off thousands of people.
Your conventional 4 years or 6 years degree is not going to be enough for your lifelong employment.
What do we as a nation gain from building our own sovereign AI model?
First neural network which came into the market.
What does it mean for me as a student? How should I be coping? How should I be making sure that when I am graduating, I'm not irrelevant?
Industrial Revolution 1, okay, when the steam engine came, many of the experts predicted that there will be a lot of job losses.
How much of compute would it require?
Government has purchased 14,000, more than 14,000 GPUs.
In 2025, 36% of Indians use ChatGPT every single day. That's correct. Every single day, which means there are more users of this AI chatbot in India as compared to the US. But all these AI models which we rely upon, they are not created in India. They are controlled and created by a handful of companies thousands of miles away. In fact, the entire AI infrastructure, which is sort of reshaping us, the way we work, the way we think, the way we operate, it's controlled only by 2 or 3 countries, maybe US, China, handful of others. What we don't realize is that all of our data, the late night chats, the creative ideas, the problems which we put into the models, all of that is not stored or processed in India. So, does that bring a case of India developing its own AI models? If yes, that's what's called sovereign AI, a model which is developed and stored within the nation. But what about the compute power? And what about the talent? Do we build generic models like the OpenAIs and the DeepSeeks of the world? Or do we build specific use case based models? To answer this and many more, let's dive into today's episode. Hi, I am Piyush Nangru and you are watching Out of Office, where founders, builders, innovators, they step out of their office to talk about their struggles, their stories, their projects and whatnot. And today, we are talking to someone who's not just talking about sovereign AI. In fact, he's building one. Dr. Utpal Chakraborty is one of the minds at the forefront of India's AI and quantum revolution. He is the chief architect behind Gehenna, India's first truly hyperlocalized small language model. Gehenna is built specifically for India, an AI model that understands the Indian nuances, Indian industries, and keeps data within the country. With over 20 years of experience across quantum technologies, AI, and responsible AI, he is recognized globally as the Gartner Ambassador of Data Analytics and AI. Let's find out today if India can build its own model at its own terms. Please welcome Dr. Utpal Chakraborty. Dr. Utpal, pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much.
So before we go into your pet project these days, maybe first we can talk about the AI revolution as it has hit us. For us common folk, I think the whole idea of new things dropping by every 3 months is honestly quite amazing. But I want to understand that from an eyes of a scientist, someone who's probably working in AI for more than a decade, 15 years now, more than that. How do you see this space? Is this space even outpacing your expectations, or how do you feel about every new thing which this AI wave is dropping on us?
So no, definitely it is outpacing even my expectations. Only thing is probably as I have seen the journey, so I feel that yes, AI can do it, because for many of us it's like a magic. So for me probably it's magic, but there is a science behind this magic. So I started my AI career approximately about 17 years back, when I was thrown into a project which is a NLP project, not like this NLP today. At that point of time, like NLP was like very
There would be handful of
rudimentary.
people who would be working on NLP at that time.
Exactly, very rudimentary.
Yeah.
And as I was thrown into that project, so now I have to deliver. I tried to find out some university people because I thought like in academia probably we'll get some people who has a fair understanding of that, and let's take that download and then start working. And that's how I made a Chinese guy. And I called him for coffee. Let's have some coffee and let's have a discussion. And you won't believe it, for 15 to 20 minutes, it was so difficult for both of us to communicate with each other because he didn't know English and I don't know Chinese. But somehow he was very helpful, and in fact, he taught us like how to write real NLP codes and how to solve the problems and how to approach, because he has got that background, educational background. But of course, in the journey, we learned a lot of things because ours is implementation, because I come from industry. So in that way, I developed my interest on machine learning and then deep learning, and I started doing research and all other things like that. So, but after this uh, LLMs, or I mean scientifically these are like transformer neural networks. So there are various neural networks,
Yeah.
but it is one of the advanced neural network. So when it came, so it is like a revolution, and it is actually a wow moment for even us. Okay, because how it started performing, doing conversation in a very natural way, human-like manner, and understanding your things.
This is 15 years ago.
No, I mean, at that point of time, transformer was not there, but there were other models. Like, for example, the first variant of this language models were something called RNN, okay, which is recurrent neural network.
Yeah.
Right? But recurrent neural network has its own problem, so it has got vanishing gradient and exploding gradient kind of a problem. That means, I mean, the model doesn't produce the desired result after some time. Then came a powerful model, and probably most of us has used that model very, very often before transformer, was LSTM, long short-term memory. So that was behind all your Google Translate and all those things, okay, whatever we were doing, say, 5 years back. And from that big jump came when the transformers and LLM models came. So that was surprising for even the scientific community.
Nice, nice. And you have been there when AI was not there, and you mentioned that the early things like Google Translate, models behind that, or the best recommendation engines. Do you know those things were those also like behind AI? Were those also felt by AI?
Yeah, so I think AI is a very generic term. Okay, so in the scientific community, there is nothing called AI. AI is an umbrella term. Okay, and it includes many other technologies. So one of the major vertical of AI or sub-vertical of AI is called machine learning. So machine learning is nothing but these are statistical or mathematical models, wherein if you feed data into this machine learning models, it can understand some patterns, and depending on that intelligence, it can produce some kind of a prediction. And those there are a lot of machine learning models at that point of time. But main jump that AI has took is from the advent of neural networks, okay, which is inspired from human brain. By the way, both these machine learning models and neural network concepts were there since late 60s and 70s. But nobody has worked on that in that way because of various limitations, I mean, computation, data, and all other things. So the first neural network which came into the market as a business technology or use case is the convolutional neural network, CNN. And so all the picture processing that you see, image processing, video processing, and all other things, behind the scene, it is like CNN, convolutional neural network. But the text was a problem, like text processing and language processing was a problem. So that's how RNN, LSTM, and all other thing came. However, the real application in the business world, in the industry, were very, very limited to those statistical and mathematical models. So banks were using it for some kind of a risk modeling, okay, some kind of a fraud detection. Okay, similarly, other industries were also using a little bit here and there for prediction, mainly e-commerce and all. Okay, Netflix started using recommending movies, this, that, and all those things. But the real applications of the neural networks, okay, that came when the CNN came into picture and the other subsequent neural networks. So you can say these are the base of this evolution that happened and what we see today, the language models and all of that.
Right. And Dr. Utpal, you are a academician at heart, right? You are a scientist, a researcher, and still I see majority of your work in corporate, right? So to me as an outsider, this seem like best of both worlds. But does it really how it has panned out for you as well? Have you ever felt that you wanted to really get across something, but because of the environment you were in, how was it working in a corporate while coming from an scientific and research background?
Yeah, so I think I'm in the both. So I started my career, in fact, in corporate only. But you are right, like because all the new researches, okay, although probably not in India, but in other countries, mainly in Western countries, including US and Canada, you will see like the inventions on the scientific world are mostly coming from the academia side. Okay. At one point of time, it was also from the defense research side, right? I mean, many of those examples are there. But however, in India, it was not in that way. But we wanted to build that culture that lets academy and academic institutions and industry collaborate together. The R&D part, the research part, let academia take care of that, and industry will focus on the implementation side. So that's how my journey with collaboration with both the sides in industry and academia started.
Yeah, but what I meant here, sorry, that Indian corporates particularly, they don't really have a lot of R&D culture. Maybe barring a few handful of the corporates. So, did you ever felt that there was not enough space to express more or implement more?
Yes, so mostly in the IT world, I mean, if you specifically talk about the IT industry here, so we were doing mostly the implementation part of it, right? And also the maintenance support part of it. And we were mainly into solution building, not into product building in that way. I'm talking about, say, probably 10 years back or so. Now we are building products also. So definitely there was a little bit of hunger among the scientific minds that given an opportunity, probably we could have done something on the research side. But our corporate culture was a little bit different, so they don't encourage much of a research except for a handful of companies probably. So yes, that's true. Yeah, but I think now it is changing, and now almost every organization, including the financial sectors, like now banks has their AI COE and all those things. So COE, when you say COE, that means you are doing some kind of R&D and research, right? So yeah, now it is changing.
Got it. Let's switch gears back to how fast AI is impacting us. How does it impact personally our careers, our banks, our salaries? And we have seen recently that a lot of companies, specifically the tech companies in the valley, have globally laid off thousands of people and tens of thousands of people actually, and across the statements of major CXOs of these companies, this trend is most likely to continue. If we can probably try to put this into a theory or into a thesis, it is that AI is now replacing your predictable, your repeatable tasks. And for all the repeatable, predictable tasks, your entry level in the market, which is the graduates who just get out of college, they were the talent pipeline for these tasks. When these job roles do not exist, the the gap, which right now, if it is this much, it will further increase to the skill level of a graduating talent versus what is required. In that scenario, how do you see the overall talent market evolving?
So yes, some replacement which you are seeing right now is because now the AI has a brain, of course, but also it has got now hands and legs because of AI agents as in TGI,
Yeah.
right? So
That is end-to-end task execution capabilities, you mean?
task execution capabilities, and not only task, actually it is outcome oriented. That means we have been doing a lot of automation using some tools like RPA and all other things, right? But still it is at the level of task. But now agents, AI agents, are given outcomes. Okay, so you do this. So outcome means there could be multiple tasks involved to achieve that outcome, and AI agents are capable enough to do that.
Yeah.
So that's a major shift. Okay, so it is not only the mundane task, so it is no more a task now. Mundane outcomes or objectives that you are looking for, which requires human intelligence, now are being done by the AI agents. So that's a different from all other what do you call the industrial revolutions that we have seen in the past. So I keep on saying that industrial revolution one, okay, when the steam engine came, so many of the experts predicted that there will be a lot of job losses, okay, people will lose job and this, that and all. Same happened when the electrical machine came in the industrial revolution 2. Industrial revolution 3, the IT power came, the processing power increased, same level of prediction. But every time these experts were proved wrong. Although there were, in short term, there were some job replacements, but in long term, there were a lot of job creations happened.
Yeah.
Right? And the job roles are being elevated to a higher level. That means now you are not doing mundane jobs, you are doing much more intellectually challenging jobs. So I think this time also it is going to happen in a similar manner. The only difference is in industrial revolution 1, 2 and 3, machines has got muscle powers, okay, and little bit of processing powers, but now it has got the cognitive ability of human, okay, which is our USP.
Yeah.
Right? We as a human, our USP is cognitive ability. So now machines has got that also. So the time ahead is a little bit challenging, but we should not lose hope because ultimately machines cannot be autonomous, right? Full autonomy is not possible. With the technology that we have, I mean, understanding that those technologies, full autonomy will not be there with the machines. It will be still in our hand. So we can mold the situation, okay, and we can take it in favor of us.
Yeah. But what does it really mean for the students? If I am a student right now, let's say in second year or third year, and I see this situation evolve around me, and there's still 2 years, hence I would be graduating. What does it mean for me as a student? How should I be coping? How should I be making sure that when I am graduating, I'm not irrelevant, or the role for which I would have otherwise been suitable is not extinct? How do I as a student make sense of it?
So that's what I mean. Your conventional 4 years or 6 years degree is not going to be enough for your lifelong employment, okay, which is to be there till now, okay. So it's a very changing world now. So I think the most important skill that every newcomers or students should have is the adaptability. Adapting to the situation, because tomorrow what is going to happen, neither you know or I know, right? So it's a challenging time, definitely, and adaptability is the first thing. So tomorrow they will have to learn, if they have to learn something on AI, they will have to learn it. Okay, even a finance MBA graduate, okay, if he has to learn something on AI, he will have to learn that. That is adaptability, and that flexibility should be there, right? He should not say, no, my degree is in something else, and I want to do something else. No, that's not going to work now. So I think the biggest skill that this newcomers should have is the flexibility and adaptability, because no expert can tell what is going to happen tomorrow or day after tomorrow.
So there you heard it directly from the horse's mouth. In tomorrow's world, agility is probably going to be the biggest skill, and learning to learn is going to be much more important than knowledge itself, because what happens to the knowledge, we all don't know. Okay, switching gears from here, talking about some of your work, you have always advocated democracy in AI, AI for all, and in fact you've also written literature on that. So what do you really mean by that, democratizing AI?
Yeah, so AI as a technology, it is bringing a tremendous capability. And when we associate that with our country, okay, because when I say all, first I consider our country, AI can contribute hugely to our economy, right? And we as a developing economy, uh, going to be one of the biggest economy very soon, we should take the advantage of AI rather than being biased by a lot of negative things which are going around AI, right? Probably this is not our area of discussion. We should focus on how we can take the advantage of this technology and contribute to our GDP, to our economy, and all that. And that's where I bring AI for all, because AI should not be only limited to a handful developers, scientists, and all, right? It should go to the hand of common people, students, professionals of any professionals. They should understand, they should use AI in their respective fields. Then only we will be able to reap the actual benefits of AI and do some contribution to our economy. So that's actually meaning of AI for all. I am not saying that everyone should be a AI scientist. I am saying that everyone should be able to use AI effectively in their own respective fields. This is not a consumer of AI. This is actually a implementer of AI in their respective field. Because if you just being a consumer, then we are gone.
Got it. So consumer, I think we already are.
We are already are, but we should not be only consumer.
Right. So when you say that we should not only be consumers but implementers as well, do we mean that every particular field, like let's say sports, medicine, legal, they should have their specific use cases and we should be exploiting them more? What I really mean to say is, should we be building on top of the existing models and building application layers for these specific use cases, or should we be building use case specific models themselves which are native to us?
Both. I think both. So in many areas or many industries or domains, I think probably we can use some of the models which are available, some foundational models or some public models which are available, and we can make use cases in many domains wherever required, which are critical domains, wherein we require our own models in terms of which is adhering to our legal compliances, regulatory things, and also which requires our control. It requires that level of explainability That's where we want to bring our our own models. Okay, but wherever we can use like some of the models which are already available, we can use that where the privacy or security is not a concern, right? But idea is AI for all. Idea is everywhere AI should come, wherever possible, because it will bring efficiency. It will bring a lot of opportunities in terms of building revenues. It will also as a skill development, okay, because we are already kind of a IT superpower, right? We have got a huge IT much. Now we can convert this IT much into AI engineers. Okay, it will not take much of a time because it is not very different from the other technologies that we are using. I mean, today if you see. So as a whole, if we can build an ecosystem for our country, wherein like everyone is aware of AI. Okay, I am not saying that everyone, but say probably even a farmer. Okay, he also knows how to use AIs for his purpose, right? When we'll be at that stage, I think then only we can tell truly that AI for all. That means everyone is reaping the benefits of AI in their respective fields and domains.
Right. And you're also closely associated with the policy circles within the Indian AI fraternity. Uh, what do you think are some of the steps which are in this direction, wherein we are making sure that across sectors and across stratas of society, AI adoption should increase not only as a consumer but also as an implementer, because efficiencies are for real. Nobody can deny the fact that the kind of gains which are up there for grabs is immense.
Absolutely right. I think India government has taken a very big step towards promoting AI, supporting AI startups, bringing government departments together, building data ecosystem and all other things. So as you know, the initiatives like IndiaAI initiative, which is for building sovereign models and doing a lot of things in AI. Similarly, AI Kosha is supporting AI startups in terms of giving them the compute, which is the essential
Yeah.
ingredient
Yeah.
for building any kind of AI models. Data ecosystem building, already a lot of government data has been collected and put into that ecosystem, and also now partnering with private and all those things. So Indian startups, Indian researchers will be getting a huge data ecosystem wherein they can leverage that data for their AI. So I think there is a huge focus from the government, okay, in terms of doing endorsement, giving funds, okay, promoting researches and all those things. And we as a citizen or startups or entrepreneurs, we should take advantage of that. Now coming to the other part of that, like probably you were hinting a little bit towards like what kind of policies in terms of data security, privacy, or any kind of governance model that we want to build, like any other countries are trying for. So for that, yes. So in India, like DPDP, we have got that act, wherein we are also talking about some level of security and privacy of our data, and how data should be managed by the enterprises, what kind of a consent is required from the individuals from whom you are taking the data, how long you should retain the data, what purpose you will be using that data, so that those things we are talking about. That's absolutely fine. We are not very rigid because I mean we don't want to hinder the growth of this technology suddenly by making some very unfriendly policies, right? So in that way we are in a very right direction. Governance, a draft has been drafted, but again the same thing. So in that way I see, like in our policy circle also and Indian government also are taking the right steps. Okay, not very aggressively in like European countries, that GDPR kind of a thing, which will not work here, right?
Yeah.
So I mean we'll have to tailor it, we'll have to see it, and we're doing exactly the same thing.
Okay, now let's talk about the elephant in the room, sovereign AI. Should we not we? Why should we not? You touched upon that there are certain use cases which require higher level of security, but is there real ROI, and in what all use cases? If we can double click on that, what does what do we as a nation gain from building our own sovereign AI model, and how likely is it to have anything, if at all, competitive?
Yeah, so sovereign AI is very, very important for us as a country, or even enterprises, any enterprises, big enterprises, government enterprises.
Sorry, Dr. Pal. Maybe for the benefit of our users, if you can just explain simply what does sovereign AI really mean?
Yeah. So when we talk about sovereign AI, I mean the term itself talks about what we are expecting. Sovereign means it should be first of all in our control.
Yeah.
Okay, and when it can be in our control, when we know the architecture of the model, okay, when we know what kind of a data has gone into the training process of the model, when we know whether this model is complying to our policies, our governance, okay, and all other things, and also
Where
whether
is where is the data stored?
yes, and the explainability part of it, when it is outputting something, every model is outputting. One way or the other way, it is outputting something. Why it is outputting and how it is outputting something or giving something. So that's all about sovereignty. And now if we talk about a GPT kind of a model or Gemini kind of a model, we don't know anything, right? We are just getting the output. Probably there are white papers published wherein they talked about how it is working and all those things. But even then you don't have a control. If you take a foundational model from Hugging Face, so there are a lot of open source models available, you can take it and train it. Even then you don't know the actual architecture implementation and what kind of a data has gone into its foundational training. So that's where the challenges are. So for a critical sector of India, you definitely require models which are completely in our control. The code is ours. The data that has gone into training is ours. All the governance and filters that we have put into the model, okay, the purpose are in our control. So that's what sovereign AI is. And nowadays it is not very difficult task. Of course, it is difficult if you are building a very large model in terms of like the cost, right? So you will have to spend a lot in the compute because you are training with trillions of parameters and all those things. But what I advocate is, yeah, of course, if somebody wants to build, they build and people are building. There are already 4 or 5 good contenders in India who are building large language models, and they are to a certain extent successful also. I think some of them will come out in public in a couple of months' time. I talk about small language models, okay, which almost everyone can build with minimal investment. And these models are going to be actually game changer because we are talking about AI agents in coming years. And the brain behind these agents will not be this large language model, but a small language model, which are trained on specific domain for a specific task, and they are good at that. They don't have an encyclopedic knowledge, okay, like GPT. GPT knows everything, okay, from astrophysics to quantum science to writing a poem, okay. But that kind of a model is not required for building an automation system in a bank. Okay, in a banking environment, if the model understands banking, it is good. So that's what we are proposing, and that's what our initiative is. GAHNA is nothing but GAHNA initiative is completely about building sovereign models, but small language models, couple of 100 million parameters, but very, very curated data. And this architecture will give you a good result. We are getting good results.
Great. So I think opportune time to talk about Gehenna here. A sovereign model which Dr. Utpal is working on these days, and it's a small language model. Would love to understand more the specific use case which Gehenna is solving.
Yeah, so Gehenna is actually the short form. So the full form is generative architecture for hyper-localized neural assistance. And here the hyper-localized word is very, very important. Okay, so this is double quoted.
Okay.
So we are building it for a very, very specific task or domain kind of thing. With this architecture, we have started a couple of initiatives in parallel. But right now, the model that we have almost ready is GAHNA CyberMind.
Okay.
So GAHNA CyberMind is for cybersecurity.
Okay.
So mostly what you see is in the SOC centers, basically security monitoring centers in every enterprises or even any organization for that matter, they have got alerting systems like IBM QRadar and many other systems are available here. So those systems are generating like thousands of alerts per day. Sometimes it goes to millions if it is a big enterprise. And these alerts could be like you as an employee, if you type your password wrong for once or twice. Could be you are downloading a big file from the server, or you are uploading something into the server. Every abnormality, they will fire a trigger and they will fire an alert. But as these number of alerts are so much, humanly for analysts, it is a fatigue, and it is not possible for them to give that kind of attention to those alerts, right? So here we require a intelligent element to build on top of that, so that this 95% of these useless alerts, which are false positives, that should be discarded, and this 5% of the alerts which are actually requires that level of attention, they need to be analyzed and given correct information. That's what GAHNA CyberMind is essentially doing. So right now it is in cybersecurity domain, but this architecture can be extended anywhere. We tried one model which was not that successful. We are again trying that. Was called GAHNA's UPI ODR. Okay, so UPI ODR is basically online dispute resolution systems, wherein this model was trained with data so that it can understand the disputes that are happening in the UPI transactions. Okay. Somehow it didn't went well. We are still trying on that. So, but my point is that this architecture can be tried in many different areas, probably healthcare and medicine, sports you talked about, but I don't know sports. I will have to explore that because that's a little bit different domain, but definitely on banking and finance in many areas, in the customer services, in the e-commerce area, many of the government sectors, agriculture, our traditional medicines like Ayurveda and all those things. So in many areas we can try it out. Of course, probably will require a little bit of tweaking. Data set is to be prepared in a different way, but yes, we can implement in many different.
Let's talk about what goes into it. And majority of our audience is not really too advanced in terms of tech know-how. So let's try to make it simple for them. If we want to build an SLM for a particular use case, let's say in healthcare, about how to read prescriptions and advise the best course, what sort of data would go into it? What sort of and how much of compute would it require? And what would it be in comparison to a generic model?
Yeah, so when you try to build any kind of small language or reasoning model, so behind the scenes is a transformer, right? Transformer architecture. So sometimes you require the entire transformer, sometimes you require a part of the transformer. So say probably only the decoder model, only the decoder part is there. In our case also it's a decoder only model. Sometimes also you require only the encoder, you don't require even the decoder kind of a thing. So the data that is required, it depends on that particular use case. Okay? And today you have that ability, and tools are available wherein you can build your data set as per your need. Okay, so you can have very fine, and this is very, very important area, because otherwise, if you trained a model, like for example, these big models are trained with the entire internet data, right? Many a times the training were redundant, right? And redundancy in training, it creates actually confusion within the model. Okay, so you should get rid of redundancy, or you should not give same thing in a different way to a model. Okay, in that case the model gets confused. Okay, what actually you are trying to give? Ultimately you are giving the intelligence, right?
Yeah.
The training process. So you can prepare your data in a very, very fine-tuned manner, planned strategically. Then with a small data set also you can achieve the goal to a great extent. Okay, wherein actually you are thinking of doing that billion or trillion kind of a thing. Now coming to compute, there are you can do it, of course, if you want to buy GPUs and all those things. So there is a huge capex that you require, like that kind of investment. But nowadays you can also train it in the cloud infrastructure. You can take some NVIDIA H100, which is pretty good in terms of speed and all those things. You can take some and you can start training. Please make sure you make some checkpoints, because this is some mistake that we did and we lost a lot of money. Okay, so yeah, because what happened, like we are pretty sure, okay, because we trained with couple of millions and it was giving, and then we thought, I mean, like, okay, now put it for 15-16 days into GPU and give a huge data set to train it. But something happened, human mistake, okay, and the whole 17-18 days training went into water, right? And 17-18 days, you can think of, it's a huge compute power, okay, and that money you cannot get it back, right? So that's gone, means gone. So please make sure that you have got checkpoints and all those things. You check, and once you are confident, and then give it a big data set and let it train the way it is training. Definitely you will get a good result. You can do a lot of innovation within the architecture itself. I'm not saying the actual architecture you need to change, no. But there are a lot of spaces that, when that first time DeepSeek has shown that, right, with minimal training, they have been able to achieve that kind of a reasoning ability, okay, and they have been able to train it with low cost community hardware, okay, cheaper this thing. So that means still there are a lot of innovations that can be done on the architecture. Okay, it's the same architecture, but little bit of that, and we have also done a little bit on that, and that is our IP, basically.
So interesting you bought hardware here, because compute is like oil these days, and it is where the entire AI world draws its energy from. Are we all really dependent on global players when it comes to the hardware, or is the government also thinking of encouraging Indian corporates through some partnerships or whatever? I heard that Tatas and Microns are few players who are really being evaluated towards providing those GPUs for compute. So what is the hardware scene, if here in this country we are to look at building some AI models, how does the compute play up? Because are we totally dependent globally?
No, I mean, if you say that totally dependent on the GPU which are built by some foreign companies, yes, of course, because we don't have any domestic companies who are building that kind of a GPU chips at this point of time. And I think, again, this is my personal view, for building a GPU kind of chips, it requires a journey. Okay, so in one day, if some company comes with money power and they want to build something, it's not possible. Because you see the journey of NVIDIA when they have started.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody was even thinking of this GPUs will be an ingredient, main ingredient for AI part. But yes, we should start exploring that, okay, because there are companies like, as you rightly mentioned, Tata, and other. We can start exploring that, but that should not be a constant at this point of time. because NVIDIA is providing GPUs and all other, government has purchased 14,000, more than 14,000 GPUs. Some of them are already available and they are also face by face acquiring GPUs. So startups can take advantage of that. It is given in a very low subsidized rate, okay, which is not available anywhere in the market. They can use that.
Moving to another area which is of great interest to you, and you have even written books on that, is quantum computing. To begin with, I would like you to explain quantum computing to our viewers as if you are explaining to my grandma.
So, quantum computing is essentially harnessing the quantum behavior of our universe or our particles into a computer processor, right? So it is actually coming from quantum physics or quantum mechanics, you can say, and which is also there since
Ages.
60s and all. Yeah, even probably many of you have seen that movie Oppenheimer, right? So Robert Oppenheimer was actually a quantum scientist.
Oh.
Okay, so he made the nuclear. He was the director of Manhattan Project. So quantum computing, when we specifically talk about, now the quantum behavior of these subatomic particles are like superposition. Okay, so one particle, when it goes to the quantum state, it can be at multiple states at the same time. Okay, what does it mean? That states can be represented into different numbers at a time. Okay, so one qubit can hold multiple values. That's what we say, right? And also there are phenomena like entranglement, wherein like once two particles are get entrangled in the quantum state, you take them miles apart or probably 1,000 miles apart, but even then they can communicate with each other real time. Real time means at the speed of light or more than the speed of light. So with these two phenomena, and also there are other things there, but these are, I think, two phenomena which people understand it very easily. You can build a quantum processor and you can bring the real parallel processing ability to the computers. Okay, so this is quantum computing. So now you can imagine in a semiconductor chip, if I have to send a signal from one transistor to another transistor, still it takes a little bit of time, right? And which will not be at the speed of light. And it can hold only one bit, like 0 or 1. Now, drawing a parallel in quantum computer, you can hold multiple values, okay, at the same qubit, and you can do operations between these qubits or among these qubits in a speed of light. So we get tremendous processing.
Is it the compute advantage you are like finally hinting at?
Absolutely. First is the compute advantage, which is like millions times faster than even the supercomputers that exist in this. Second thing is the real parallel processing or parallelism that we call. Okay, because supercomputers may have huge computational ability, but still then it is a sequential processing machine. It processes in sequence, probably very fast. But here you will get real. And this, when we talk about parallel processing, there are a lot of advantages. For example, so there are algorithms like Shor's algorithms, which is kind of, normally for cryptography, the main concept behind all the encryption keys that you are using is like the factorization of a very big number. Okay, so it takes a lot of time. It may take years to find out the factorization. Multiplication is very fast, but when you do factorization, you need to do a lot of permutation and combinations to find out the factors of that number, right? And this is the main technique behind the encryption key. That's if somebody steals your key also, you will not be able to break it for 1 year because you will keep on trying. Now, if we have a computer who has got the parallel processing capability, like quantum processors, it can take thousands of paths at a time, millions of paths at a time. Okay, so
yes.
this is a common thing. So it can break your all RSA keys that exist today in just a couple of minutes probably. And this has been already demonstrated by Google in one of their computers called Sycamore. So they have been able to find the prime factors of a number in 3.5 minutes, which could have taken a couple of years for even a supercomputer to break it. So this is the power of quantum processors.
How nascent is this science, or how production grade is it already?
For scientific purpose, for doing some level of mathematical calculations, it's already ready, because Google has, IBM has, Honeywell has, many people has. And there are various types of quantum computers also. So the most popular one is the superconducting processors. But there are other types of quantum computers, like for example, D-Wave, a Canadian company, now they are global. So they have got computers which are adiabatic quantum computing, which are like annealing. They are using a annealing technique. So these are not pure qubits, because the problem with the pure qubits now is basically, as these are quantum particles and the entire universe is also behaving in quantum, so they can entangle with any quantum particles at any point of time. Just to restrict that kind of a phenomena, we put some kind of a shield around that. We take it to the absolute zero temperature, that processor, so that we can maintain that quantum state and we can do that operations. But even then, these quantum qubits are very fragile. They lose this information very frequently, and you have to do the operations. So there are, and because of that, there are a lot of errors coming into picture. Okay, so and then that's what the researchers are finding now, how to do that error correction. Okay, so once the error correction is in a very good stage, and once we have got enough number of pure qubits in our quantum processors, we will be able to solve even the business problems. So many of the optimizations that you want, okay, so everywhere there is optimization need, right? Everywhere you go into any field, there is a need for optimization, and quantum computers will be the best thing to do optimization.
But how do the cybersecurity guys view this, given what you said, that it can really do a lot of parallel processing and break into a lot of things? Is there a looming fear that when this science becomes more largely available, there are going to be larger cybersecurity risks, which anyways in the era of AI, we have seen a huge rise on?
Yes, absolutely, because it is a risk, and already, and people will have to change these RSA keys. But the good news is there are quantum safe keys, or post-quantum cryptography, which is called. So these are already available. People are building those. So, but we'll have to replace all those things. So, which is also a big task. Okay, now we are completely different, depend on the RSA keys. So quantum computer actually brings advantages as well as disadvantages. Advantages in the sense like quantum communication, okay, when we talk about communication, is the most secure communication. Because if you established the communication between
one qubit
through
to
the
another.
through quantum qubits, then nobody can steal your information, because quantum states are not clonable. So normally what the man in the middle attacks, what they do is basically they clone the data that you are passing through the different channels, whether it's a free space communication or through anywhere, and they will try to make sense out of that. But here quantum states cannot be clonable. So once you try to clone something, it will vanish, and it will also inform both the sender and receiver. So in that way, people are also talking about quantum internet, that in a couple of years, quantum internet will come, which will be the most safest internet that we can imagine. But at the same time, it also brings that kind of a risk, because if the quantum processors or computers goes to the hand of a bad actor, he can break all your keys and he can do whatever he wants.
And because there is a compute advantage also we talked about, does it bring some specific acceleration to how we see AI or how we see the growth of AI?
Oh, of course, because that's what AI and quantum computing are going to have a big what do you call they are converging.
Okay.
Yeah, and this convergence will bring a lot of power to AI, because AI is still not real time.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
you
general
can
intelligence
say
is not there. You mean to say.
you can say near real time, but it's still not real time. And many of the use cases require real time. For example, the stock market itself. Okay, you require real time, almost real time. And there are many other examples there. So here, once AI gets a computational ability, parallelism of a quantum processor, I think it is going to be like anything. Okay.
And even in training, like, to be able to train on certain data sets, do you think on training models also quantum computing will be beneficial, or the advantage is just incremental?
Both the sides, training and inferences. I will hardly add more on the inference side, because that's a challenge. Like inferencing, training, you can have your own suite of time and you can train the model. Of course, it will help. So that's where the quantum machine learning models are coming up, which is because the normal machine learning models you cannot run on a quantum processor, because the architecture of the quantum processors are different. How you encode data into that qubits itself is a different ball game. Okay, so that's where you require that circuits to be retained to feed data, and you have got the different kind of gates which are not available in the normal classical computer, like Hadamard gate.
Yeah.
Okay, which is basically for doing kind of a entanglement, which is not there in classical computers. So those things are already people are building quantum machine learning models which can run the machine learning models which can run on the quantum processor. And once we have got good number of qubits, then definitely the training process will also be accelerated. And most importantly, which I want to highlight, is the inferencing process.
Yeah.
During inferencing,
Yeah.
is going to be a game changer.
The real-time use
Yeah,
cases
it's
specifically.
going to be a game changer.
Okay, so this brings us to the rapid fire section of our podcast. This is not how we generally do our rapid fire, specifically given that you have at least as compared to everyone else, you have slightly better foresight to what can happen, what are the possibilities which technology can unlock. We would want to give you one industry at a time, and you have to tell us one prediction. It can be as wild as you want to get. One prediction which you feel in the coming 2 to 3 years is going to, or even 5 years, is going to come true. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely. I think
Fine.
this will be fun.
Okay, I think this is going to be fun. Yes. Okay. What's going to happen to our currency?
Currency, already we have digital currency. So probably we'll have AI currency. That means your all currencies are being managed by AI, and it is kind of a dynamic. It's not like 1 rupee. It will be something currency which is like dynamic currency. Okay, currency changes, the value changes, this changes, and all those things, and all maintained by AI. And you don't manage your finance and all those things. AI is, you will have some virtual assistants, and it will manage everything. Okay, so you need not have to think anything about your finance.
That's fun and scary both. The day I swipe my debit card and there is no money.
Yeah.
Okay. Healthcare.
Predictive healthcare. So there will be a lot of predictions, and many of the diseases will come to know in advance. And I think, which is everyone is predicting.
Yeah. No, I think that's a very positive trend. Sports.
You can analyze the data that is coming from the sports, and the players can get a lot of insight, and also the mentors. Okay, they can get a lot of these things, and also I think to a great level we can do prediction what is going to happen, what is the likelihood of which is going to happen for a particular match or something like that. That will also be very closer to reality. What's going to happen? Yeah.
That's certainly not fun. That's taking fun away from all the matches.
Yes.
Okay, transportation.
Transportation, all driverless cars, and the infrastructure is also going to be completely IoT and AI based infrastructure for driverless cars. And people are not driving any cars because you will not allowed to drive car along with the completely self-driving cars, right? Yeah.
So there you had it, a peek into the future from Dr. Utpal, who has been dealing with all the technologies even before they became popular buzzwords as we see it today's world. Now we will end with our every time ritual. It's called the Param Jigyasa, the pursuit of curiosity. So essentially, every time there's a guest, they leave us a question for the next guest. So we have a question for you, and similarly, we'll take a question from you for the next guest. So can I have the question, please? So there you go, Dr. Utpal.
Yes. What would be the future of software industry considering AI coding tools are growing so fast in terms of their capabilities? Okay, very interesting question, by the way. Yeah, I think the coding tools will mature. So right now, if you ask me, these are productivity tools. Definitely, it can enhance your productivity, but it cannot replace you. Because most of the tools available today are not been able to do a production grade coding. There are many tools available which can build some websites, very basic websites and very basic apps. But being coming from a industry, I know the enterprise level coding and enterprise level these things. We will definitely require experienced developers or human intervention in those tools which generate some level of coding. So most of these tools creates template coding. Okay, it understands the problem statement and it creates, but there are many very many nitty-gritties inside which definitely require the involvement of developers to do that. Of course, these tools will mature, but at the same time, the complexity of the use cases will also mature. Okay, so definitely the requirement of developers are not going to be completely eliminated. It can be a little bit lesser because now as you have a helping hand, so there is something called GitHub Copilot, which generates a lot of code. But this is not enough. I mean, you cannot have 10 licenses of GitHub Copilot and no developers, right? You equally require 10 developers as well. So yes, so that would be my answer to that.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Utpal. Now you will have to give us a question for the next guest. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you.
It was lovely to have conversations today around some of the technologies and around your work. It was a pleasure to have you, Dr. Utpal. Thank you very much for taking out time.
Thank you so much. It was really great discussing some of the pertinent topics with you. Thank you so much.
In 5 years, someone watching this might crack an AI model, might solve for production grade quantum computing, or might just solve the cybersecurity problem. Only if you will wait for someone else to do it. Sovereign AI is happening right now. Dr. Utpal is building it. Gehenna is happening right now. People are working on quantum computing right now. Don't wait. Jump to it. If you are watching this and thinking that all of this is very cool, but this is not for me, no, this is for you right now. And to everyone else watching, if this conversation made you think differently about building, share this episode with someone who's thinking of starting up. And until then, see you next time. This is Piyush Nangru signing off from out of office. Till then, stay curious, stay hungry, and do step out of your office once in a while.